Welcome back to Good Morning Interbike. I'm your host, David, and in our last spot today, we've got something pretty special, a really neat anniversary that we want to talk to you about. I'm with David Zimberoff. He is the Global Marketing Director for SRAM. And by the way, I get this all the time from the guys at SRAM. Listen carefully. It's not
SRAM.
It's
not SRAM. It's not spam.
Exactly.
Just SRAM.
SRAM is the right way to say it. Welcome to Good Morning Interbike.
Thanks, David.
It's great to have you here.
Good to be here.
You got this book in front of us.
Yeah.
It is SRAM's 25th anniversary. First of all, happy anniversary.
Thank
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about the founding of the company. I remember, and probably a lot of our viewers remember, Grip Shift.
Sure.
Is that really where SRAM's roots are?
It's absolutely where it was.
Yeah.
You know, in 1987, our president and founder, Stan Day, had this crazy idea. He was a weekend warrior triathlete training on the city streets of Chicago, and he had drop bars, and he had shifters on the down tube.
Yep.
And he wasn't the most accomplished cyclist, and in Chicago, our streets aren't that good. So there's the occasional pothole.
Yeah.
He found shifting a little awkward. And so he had this idea. He wanted to figure out a way to shift without moving his hands off the handlebar. And so he came up with this idea was, I just want to be able to twist my wrist on the handlebar. Keep my hands in the drops, but just maybe scoot back and just twist. So his idea was just that, a twist shifter. So he reached out to a friend who was a mechanical engineer and inventor, Sam Patterson, and together they created the concept for what is Grip Shift. Mm-hmm. Took about a year to prototype and figure out, but finally they figured it out, and hence Grip Shift was born.
And in the beginning, if I'm remembering the history right, I remember the initial response, there was about 50% of the people who said, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen, and about 50% of the people who said, that's the most brilliant thing I've ever seen. Yeah. What were those early days like?
Well, it may have been more like 90% of the people thought it was crazy and it'll never work, which is often the case in the bike industry with new ideas.
Yep.
The early days were difficult. You know, we had aspirations of hundreds of thousands of grip shifts sold. I think the first year we sold 1,000. Which was challenging. We hit the streets, a lot of grassroots support, you know, pounding the pavement, getting to dealers, trying to convince them of the new technology. One of the big things that we started early on, though, was amateur racing and sponsorship, supporting the amateur racing scene, and that really sort of paved the way for some of our success, getting product into the right hands of the right people to help influence others. But it was hard. It took a few years, and it really wasn't until maybe 91, 92 where Grip Shift really started to gain some traction, and then the big shift was when Grip Shift went from road to mountain bike. Right. The mountain bike boom happened in early 90s, and Grip Shift was there at the right time. The industry was looking for an alternative to what was just 2 or 3 shifter companies in those days, and Grip Shift was an alternative. Yeah.
So now we move forward through your history, and SRAM really became an innovator in a lot of other ways as well. Where did you go from Grip Shift?
Well, from Grip Shift we turned to organic growth of shifter development to derailleurs.
Yeah.
Right. We went from controlling other people's derailleurs to wanting to control our own derailleur.
And that's really where you entered the picture, right?
I joined in about 94 and helped to design the first ESP rear derailleur. Mm-hmm. My background's in industrial design, and now I'm doing marketing.
Go figure, right?
Yeah. It's a fun connection now, because I know how to make the product, and now I know how to sell and market the product. But so from shifters and derailleurs, we then started to look at more rapid growth, and we sort of put our eyes on Europe and acquisitions. So part of our strategy has been organic growth internally, but also synergistic acquisitions. And in 1997, in 1997, we were fortunate enough to buy our first brand, which is no longer with us today as a brand, but the product line and the people are still there, and that's Sachs. Based in Germany. It instantly overnight gave us metalworking technology, infrastructure, resources, manufacturing capabilities, and Europe. It really gave us a strong foothold in Europe. And
before that, was there resistance in Europe to the the SRAM brand because maybe brand C was well known, and maybe the other brand S had come along and had become well known. Was there some resistance there, and was that part of the strategy behind Saks, or was it really more of, as you said, just a synergy between the companies?
It's never one thing, right? So it's many things, and certainly there wasn't any resistance in Europe to SRAM. I mean, in Europe, there's a lot of cultures and cities there that really love American ideas.
Yeah.
And so we were very popular. We just wanted to grow faster.
Sure.
We also needed capabilities that we didn't have, and that gave us those capabilities and that network.
Yeah. Now, from Saks, I mean, you've made multiple acquisitions since, and I think that some people may be surprised at some of the brands that are under the SRAM umbrella. Give us an idea of who those brands are.
Let me see if I can recount this. So,
don't miss one.
In '97, we buy Saks, and then we take a little while. We take about a 5-year hiatus. 2002, we buy RockShox. RockShox was encountering some financial difficulties. We were able to come in at the right time and really make them lean and operationally fit.
And what's interesting to me about the RockShox acquisition is going back to grip shift. As you said, all right, maybe 90% of the people were resistant to grip shift in the beginning.
Yeah.
I remember when RockShox first came on the scene, and there were a lot of people holding their nose and going, there's no way I'll put that on my bike.
Just 2 years later, it was 89.
Very similar kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. That'll never happen. Absolutely. The RS1's like, oh my God, suspension, it's heavier.
Right.
So then so that was in 2002, we bought RockShox. In 2004, early 2004, we bought Avid disc brakes.
Yep.
Then in late 2004, that same year, we bought Truvative, cranks, handlebars, stems, seat posts, etc., bottom brackets.
Yep.
That was in 2004. In 2007, we bought Zip, aerodynamic carbon fiber, high-end racing wheels and triathlon wheels.
Yeah.
And then in 2012 and 2010, we bought Quark.
Right. Power meters. Great.
Yeah.
Great company with a great story.
Yeah.
And really nice technology.
Yeah.
And along the way, road components.
Yeah, road components. SRAM started in the road, and then in 2000, we quickly got out of road into mountain in the early 90s. But our customers had kept saying, hey, you're giving us all these great mountain bike components. You have all these great offerings and all these great brands, but when are you going to supply us road parts?
Yeah.
So in 2006, we got busy, and we introduced what Force and Rival. Now we have a full suite of road components, but April 2006, we introduced those products, and now, have numerous Tour de France victories, Giros, Vueltas, Tour Californias, etc., and really holding our own on the pro road racing scene.
Holding your own is an understatement, but okay.
We're doing all right.
But what's interesting is, right, that original double tap technology, very reminiscent in some ways of your roots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different, original, innovative. Some of that is necessary by a function of product development and proprietary technology, right?
Yeah.
We can't just be a Me Too company. Anytime we develop products, we're going to develop something that's innovative, original, simple, that adds value.
Speaking of adding value, one of the things that I think helps you stand out is that you're bringing value to everybody in the room through your advocacy efforts, and I think also through your humanitarian efforts as well. Give people a sense of where SRAM is when it comes to some of those, what people might call corporate responsibility.
Sure. Yeah, corporate social responsibility is a big buzzword today.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies are finding their own way to participate and give back. SRAM has a couple different things that we do to participate. One on the humanitarian side of things, and one on the advocacy side of things. On the advocacy side of things, in 2008, we decided to set up a fund called the SRAM Cycling Fund. And we put $10 million of our own money in this fund and hired a director to direct the fund and do some research, basically to give away $2 million a year for 5 years.
Yeah.
We intend to refund it as well. And we target organizations that are doing great advocacy work in the areas of access, infrastructure, and safety. We like to fuel other people's fires. We don't want to take the little grants here and there. We want to find the big people that are doing big things in big places and help them do it faster to reach more people.
Nice.
So that's the advocacy side of things. On the humanitarian side of things, in 2005, we set up a humanitarian organization called the World Bicycle Relief. And World Bicycle Relief hits a completely different set of people in the corporate social responsibility world. World Bicycle Relief exists to help people through the power of bicycles. We raise money to buy bicycles to help healthcare workers, children go to school, young entrepreneurs to bring commerce to market, etc. We're primarily focused in Africa right now, giving away hundreds of thousands of bikes to people in need, and it's a great, great cause.
And I've spoken with the folks at World Bicycle Relief before, and it's a very powerful thing to provide someone with something as simple as a bicycle, and the way that it literally can change their lives, hundreds of percentage points for the better. It's a really great thing. What's the future look like? The first 25 years, we're pretty good. What do you see for the future of SRAM?
I see the exact same curve, really. I mean, we are a really dynamic, enthusiastic, exciting group of developers, innovators, tinkers, marketers, etc. And we're going to just keep doing the same thing. As Stan Day, our president, likes to say often, you can look around at some of SRAM's success and think, game over, we've arrived. And he says, no, it's not game over. Game's just started.
Nice.
We've just warmed up, and we've got some tools, and now we're going to just use them really, really well.
Tell us about the book and sort of a little bit also of what your focus is here at Interbike this year.
Sure. One of the celebrations at the show is the book. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary, so we commemorate it in a book like many people do. We had a really cool little promotion here at the show where we offered an opportunity for people to win the book by meeting some of the people in the book.
Nice.
So we had this really cool postcard where people would get stamps from different people, founders of the organization, and then turn that card in to get a book.
What a great idea!
It's it's a 388-page sort of documentary, photo documentary and story. Much of the content will be online soon. We'll probably make it as a free download on iTunes at some point. But right now, there's a limited edition that are available to sort of people in the know and at Interbike right now. Really beautiful coffee table book.
Focus here at the show beyond the anniversary. What are some of the things that when people come and visit your booth, and you're not hard to find, what will people be focusing on in the booth when it comes to product?
There are, because we have so many brands, there's a ton of highlights, and really every brand has, anywhere from 3 to 5 cool new products. Big picture, some of the highlights on the drivetrain side in mountain bike is XX1. It's a revolutionary new 1x11 drivetrain for mountain bikes that is incredible.
And a lot of buzz behind that this year as well.
A lot of buzz. It's really unique. And really captivating technology, and really, I think, hitting the sweet spot of where things are going. Certainly, no one can go anywhere around the show without talking about multiple different wheel sizes, right? So there's 26, 27.5 or 650B, and 29. So we've got a full suite of offering of wheels and suspension to go along with those offerings that you'll see.
And on that, I think a lot of people would be upset if I didn't ask this question. Is there a position that SRAM is taking there? Is there one wheel size you think may win out over another, or do you think they're all here to stay?
Boy,
putting you on the spot. Sorry.
I'm definitely on the spot. So I'll give you 2 answers.
Okay.
The first answer is we're Switzerland.
Gotcha.
We are neutral. We are a component supplier. If customers ask us to make a 30-inch wheel or a 32-inch wheel, we'll make it for them. That's what we do. So right now, the industry has asked us to make 3 different types of suspension and 3 different types of wheels. And so we're going to do it. We're going to do that all day long and thank them for it. Do we have a position? I would say our position is we think that bigger is better, but we also think that there's multiple versions of bigger that are acceptable.
Gotcha.
So could 26 fade out? It's possible.
Yeah.
But we're going to support whatever stays.
That makes sense. Excellent. What is your booth number? Let everybody know where they can find you here at the show.
I don't know.
It's very simple. If you go down the lobby, it's the very first booth that you see, so it's very, very easy to find.
Just look for the big red spaceship above the booth with the SRAM logo.
And you've been in that same spot for years, so if they've been to Interbike before, they know where to find you.
Yeah.
David, thank you so much for joining us on
David.
Good Morning Interbike. Really appreciate it. Congratulations on 25 years, and we're looking forward to seeing what you guys do in the next 25. It's going to be awesome. That's going to do it for our day here on Good Morning Interbike. Thank you so much for joining us. We have 2 more exciting days for you. We'll be starting each morning at 8:30 Pacific time right here at interbike.com/live. And for those of you who are fans, don't forget to join us for the Spokesman Cycling Roundtable podcast at 4 p.m. Pacific today, Wednesday, and tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific right here at interbike.com/live. Once again, I'm David, your host for Good Morning Interbike. On behalf of everyone here at Interbike, have a great day at the show. We'll see you tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning.